Good evening, everyone. I'm just a couple minutes late. I'm working around with my video. And let me make sure that it's going and you guys are on. Yes, so we are live. And I have to turn, I always have you guys facing me so that I can see your lovely faces. And this time I'm doing a little bench. Let me get out of your way so you can see. I'm doing a little bench, and I want to do the one that has a scripture that says, "You are my refuge and my shield. I've put my trust, my hope in your word." So I want to do this video, you guys, or this little transfer on my bench. And the reason why is because this actually is for me. I've already got it painted. I've got a blank canvas. So I can do whatever I want with this video. Or with the, I've been running around like chicken with their head cut off, trying to get this all ready for you guys. Sometimes you get a transfer, and that transfer isn't exactly what you want, right? And I hope you guys can see me. I cannot see you because the camera's flipped where you guys are looking at me, because I wanted you to be able to see this transfer. If I do it the other way, then it's all backward and it looks all gibbly-gobbly. You know what I'm saying? I want you to be able to see the wording. So if it's off a little bit, or if you can't see me, I apologize. But I don't have anyone else here at the house to help me to run the camera and make sure that it's doing whatever it's supposed to do. So we'll just roll with it. It's alive, right? So sometimes you get your transfers in, and let me see if I can find the my little tube that has it, and let me show you what we have. Now I can see there's some people on, so listen, if you're on, tell me you're on, tell me who you are, tell me where you're from, and I want to show you how this is laid out by Prima. So let me get up here and look so you guys can see this well, because I can't see from back there. Okay, so you are my refuge and my shield. I have put my hope in your word, right? This little transfer, or this little bench that you see right here, is really for me. It's going to go in my entryway, and so I wanted to have it. I've got a free canvas right here. My seat is a canvas, and it's got this neat little drawer. I'm actually going to put a transfer in this drawer also, so that when you open it up, you'll have a nice pop of color and then have a beautiful transfer. So we won't get that far today, but when you're putting in lettering with your transfers, unless you lay it out exactly how they do it, of course theirs is precise, totally precise. And I had to, because of my space is not long enough, and I really did love this. I did another bench just like this. Well, it's not exactly like this one. It was kind of prettier. But I really love that scripture on there. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this one. I found this one online for really cheap, and it fits my entryway because I've got a very small entryway. And I thought, you know what, this is what I'm going to do on my bench. So I've got this cut up. I'm going to get out of your way, hopefully, so you can see well. I've got this cut up, and I've got these words all cut up. So I'm going to have to be very, very careful when I put this on that I get it as straight as possible. All right, so I've kind of got it laid out where I want it. Of course, I'll have to take the tapes off in order to get my backing off, but you can also kind of tape it on the back and take your backing off, which will kind of hopefully keep it kind of in line, maybe if my tape doesn't come loose. And let's see what we've got. I don't want to lay it totally down. Let me see. I think that's looking pretty daggum straight. Let me see where that edge is here. Let me see, that edge is there, that, yeah, that's pretty daggum straight. All right, so I have got a curve in here. And when you're working with a curve, it's kind of like if you've ever wallpapered. I always start with my flattest place, and I go and work toward the curve. Now, sometimes going through that curve might, maybe, possibly, I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and do it on this side. Anything that is on this level, I'm going to try to get that unattached. And I'm just going to rub, maybe try to get a little bit. If you get a little bit of air underneath it, you'll see when that's rubbed on. So here I am, and I am going to try to get this, because if I put this down, then what you would see is you would see breaks in my letters, and I don't want that. I want to move toward the curve, and I'm going to lay my transfer down so that it is continuous. Let me see how that's lifting. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to work. Now I'm going to work this area right through here. I'm going to get that curve down so that my lettering can stay continuous. And I don't think all of this is quite adhered yet. There we go. Now that's working. You can always tell when it adheres, because when it finally adheres, it's going to look a little transparent. So I'm trying to get out of your way. Now I'm going to work this surface. It can be a little tricky when you're doing different, like, drawers and stuff like that. But I remember years ago learning to wallpaper. And what you did at wallpaper, whenever you came to a curve or something like that, you worked with your flattest surface first. Then you worked into the curve, and the wallpaper just kind of followed what you did. So I'm going to work this curve. I'm going to work this down here. Now, what do you do if you get something a little crooked? Let's say I get this done and it's a little bit crooked. It's always fixable, you guys. Everything is normally always fixable, right? Let's say something doesn't adhere on your lettering. So what do you do? Well, at this point, I thought I had a pin, and I was going to show you, because I'm sure there'll be a part that doesn't adhere by the time I'm done. But what you can do is you can go to the store. You can either use your paint that you have. This is actually painted in Dixie Belle buttercream, or I'm sorry, drop cloth. And so I've got me a flat surface here. I've got me a really nice canvas that I can work on. And this is going to be simple. Very, very simple. And I'm going to like that, because I have so much ornate in my house. Simple is good. Okay, so now I'm going to work this curve. I'm going to work this. Try to get that. See if I can get some air underneath there. And you can see, I might not even get all this rubbed on, because when you're working with your lettering and you're working with a curve on top of working with your lettering, sometimes that can make that a little challenging. But I think we can do it. That's is get you a chalk paint pen and fill it in. It's very, very easy, you know, and you just kind of follow Prima's lines and you get that in real good. All right, so let's keep this rubbing. Let me see where I'm at here. This is not rubbed on, I can tell. Let me lift this. And I'm going to lift very gently because I know that over there is not on yet because I haven't even done this over here. I want to, as I said, I want to work from my raised surfaces down into these depressed surfaces. I want to get the side, I want to get that. Now that I've got that in here, now I'm going to come here and I'm going to get this and rub this on. And you don't have to stop here if we have time. I can add, I was thinking of maybe adding some butterflies here. I want to make sure you guys can see. Now I'm loosening my tape and let me see if that is adhered. Sometimes it might not look adhered, but it is. So I'm going to gently, gently, gently take this off. Some of it I can see. Yep, I know that is not adhered because it doesn't lift easily. So I'll just put me a little more pressure on that. Let's see. And I don't think that is even, there we go, that went down. Let's see what we can do here. When you pull it and it doesn't lift perfectly, then just put your paper back down. Put your paper back down. Okay, so now this piece is off. Now, I could go with my black paint. I like that. I like how that did. I can go with my black paint and fill, there's little gaps right here, and that'll all be filled in. I just don't have my little pin, but it's so easy to do. And I'm sure you guys can figure that out. Okay, so now I have got this area, let me take this off, which is depressed right through here. So this fits right in there just almost perfectly. And so what I want to do is I'm going to take my little scissors because I kind of want to keep my tape, I want to keep this together. I want to keep the word shield together. So I am going to tape it together just like that. Then I'm going to cut off these words. And I'm going to cut that off because I feel like I'm going to get a better, be able to lay that better if I have that off of there and make sure that I get it pretty straight. And like I said, if you don't, I'm going to see where that D goes, and then see I've got my Y here. And so my Y is probably going to go a little bit into that space, but I want to make sure my D is down. All right, so let's check that and see. Okay, I'm about right there. Yeah, I think I'm pretty good. So now whenever I go back, I know it's going to fit well, and you can kind of see better when you take your tape off. So I want to look at what my lettering is up there and what my lettering is here. Now I can fit it, you know, of course it's going to be different lettering. I think I want to fit this to where I could put my right here, and you would have a G, E here, and you could also have an M there. So what if I put it kind of almost like in between those letters. And I feel like that makes it a little more even. I'm not putting it down until I'm ready to press it on. And I think I've got it to where I'm ready to press it on. Now my white is going to go a little bit in there, so I'm going to get that first. I'm going to take that off first. And then I'm going to do this. Why? Because it was my raised part. It was closest to, it, you know, it was higher than what this was. So I want to release whatever is the highest first. Like this was the highest. So I wanted to work it so that these would go over the curves. And that way you are hand doing your transfers, and you're giving them a little different look maybe than what they come in, and that's okay. Totally okay. You want to make them fit you. All right, so let's see if we got that. Okay, so here we go. Then I want to gently go over my letters. Make sure, especially in these corners that I've you know, ran through. I want to make sure they're adhered well. I want to press them down, make sure. So there we are. We've got that. And then where is my shield? So here is my last letter that I'm doing on this side, or word that I'm doing on this side. So let's kind of get a general layout of what we want. I'm really liking that. Okay, and then I want to think about where I want to put shield at. I'm thinking I want to just kind of center it between this and my. So I'm going to take this off, and then I'm going to center again and see where I want this at. I think I want it at about right here. I'm going to look and make sure I think that it's level. Kind of looking to the side, so I don't want to go on to the side. So I might want to put this kind of halfway in that space. Okay. And sometimes, you know, you can kind of not just, here I moved it over. Okay. So let's just say I just lightly do that. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it won't adhere and you can lightly take it off if you feel that it's off in. But you got to be careful with it. Sometimes when you stick it down, you've got it and that's the way it is. So I'm looking carefully. And I think that's pretty straight. I think that's pretty straight. So what if you don't get it exactly straight? Take your pen, and I'm sure that over here, this one, the next one's going to be a little harder. Take your pen and just cause these to go down just a tad. You know, if it's not real bad, then you can normally fix it. Now, if it's way off, it's a little harder to fix. Yeah. All right. All right, so now we've got shield on there, but now look, my H, I don't know if you guys can see that, my H kind of messed up a little bit. There again, that's where that little bitty pin will come in, and I can put me a little line here and make that a little straighter. It just kind of went wonky on me because the thing lifted. So I want to make sure that I have this. I'm going to go back up and make sure that you guys can see my next side, because there's no sense of me doing it if you can't see it, right? So let me get up here and look. All right, so you're seeing that. Hey, Janine. Hey, Judith. Looking to see who's on here. Julie, Joanne. If you're on here, let me, so you can kind of see where we're at, right? And you can see how pretty that is. I'm really liking that. All righty, so now I'm going to move to this side. And let me get my do my little roll. Now on this one, I think what I'll do is I will work, let's get this down just a tad. I think I'm going to work from the bottom up, and I'll tell you the reason why. Is I've got this H here that I have to make it fit, I've got to take a little bit of this stem off. So what I'll do is I'll just lay it on top of each other. So I think what I'll do, this is going to keep me more straight because, and let me look at this real quick. Yeah, let's take this word down, and I am going to try to flip this up a little bit. Whoop, it came down, but I got one side on. And I'm going to take this down and let me see what we're doing here. So I've kind of got this side down, and I know it's going to go on here. Let's see. Now I don't want this touching this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo this. Then I can match this little loopy thing to what I do here. I want to make sure my Y is okay. And I think I can actually go up just a tad. Just a little tad. Okay, that's feeling straight to me. Now I haven't really burnished it, so let me get out in front and see if I think that looks straight. I think it's going over just a little bit. And I'm going to look at this end right here. Okay, I've got that kind of straight. So I'm going to go here, and go there. I'm going to kind of push that in a little bit. And I think that should be straight. All right. So now I'm going to burnish this. And like I said, if it's off a little bit, just a tad, you can always fix it. Now I don't know if you guys can see, probably can't that far away. And you know I always love to bring you in, but the way this is, I really can't. Up here, if you can catch a little bit of that air in there, it sure does make it easier. You guys, if you haven't liked my page, those of you who are watching, if you haven't liked my page, I am Ransomed Relics, Carolyn Massey at Ransomed Relics, and I do a lot of hand painting the designs. I do a lot of image transfers. I do all kinds of image transfers, not just the ones that you can buy, but I also do what I call the old-fashioned, old-school image transfers. And Prima just makes it easy for us, don't they? And we can just mix and match and do what we want, right? Okay, so I'm trying to get this off here, make sure that my highest point, this is my highest point, so I want to make sure my highest point is adhered. And if you slowly pull it down and it doesn't adhere, then you just put it back up and start rubbing it again. Now I'm going to rub this in. You can see I'm going on this right here, but I don't want to go down there yet until I kind of have this. Make sure that this is going to lay right. Okay. I figured if I did the bottom and worked my way up, it would make it a little easier. This is a little complicated, but not bad. These things are so easy. Okay, let's see see what we're doing here. All right. So now I'm going to gently, especially get these corners right where that curve is. Make sure that that's in well. I'm going to gently rub that in. I love how that curve goes around here. Don't you? Okay, and then we have this little guy. And he is our hope sticker. And he kind of goes right here. And I want to leave room for my, so can you see this goes high? If I line this up right, kind of probably about right there. I don't want to put tape on that. So I'm going to have room for these letters up here. So that's why I kind of tried to lay it out before I got online, because I didn't want to make a fool of myself and it not work right. Alright, so let's see, I'm just going to lay that right on top of there. Let me make sure that it's perfect. You don't want that other one showing underneath. Okay, I want to make sure I've got room up here, and I think I do. So we're going to go with the highest first, which is right here. Yep, it adhered. Then I want to work my way, and this line is going right along this crease, which that's okay. I guess I could have moved that down just a tad, but it's all right. It all works. And then once you get this saying on, that one came loose. So let me see if I can get that adhered again. And there again, I'm going to go to my lowest place and work my way up. Since I'm working my way up, I'm going to work up to my highest place, because this has got to go up here. I'm working that curve. I'm going to hold this. Trying to get it where, and let me see. Alrighty then. So we were able to make that. I want to just see. Oh yeah. There you go. And then we want to put on our word, don't we? My hope is in your word. So I'm going to get that little piece. And we want to look at our spacing, make sure that our word has spacing. And if I lose that little dot, I lose that little dot. Now I'm not rubbing it at all. All I want to do is gently put that on there and make sure that that is straight. Now that's too close. See, if you don't rub it real quickly, you can normally take it off a little bit. Let's see. To me, it looks like that. That D is already kind of adhered, and I feel like, so I will put that down just a tad. All right. You could get out a measurement too. And there you go. There you've got the word on there. Oh, and see, look, you can see a little bit of that came off. Let me see. It's not on my thing. So what I'll do is I'll come back with that little black pen, and I'll just kind of, you know, make anything that looks kind of funny, I will change it. All right, you guys, we're just about done with this. That's really awesome. All righty, now I'm going to take this off. you can see, you work with what's best for you. You work what is going to be easiest for you. Okay, I'm going to take, now this one might be a little harder. This was the line that I kind of thought would be a little harder to do. So let me, kind of want to see how far I am over there. And I might even want to move these up just a tad, because I've got room. Okay, I'm going to gently just rub close on that. I'm going to come around here. And that looks pretty straight to me. It looks pretty straight to me, but maybe I might want it down just a tad, maybe. Okay. But because I just lightly did like that, just enough to kind of stick it on. Now I'm going up, aren't I? I'm going up a little bit, so I'll come over here. So that's why it's good to get back and to look, because sometimes you can't tell it. What? Sometimes you can't tell it when you're off. Does that look right? Let me look again, because then I could be having it going down. Now I think that looks good. There again, that lifted and went down a little quicker. I'll come in and see right here, that didn't go all the way down in me. So you can always use a little black marker or pen to correct anything like that so that it looks perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to get around here and I want to look at my word, put my. And I want to look, number one, at my spacing. Number two, I want to look at, let's see, let me keep that on there so I can tag that on. Okay, so now I'm going to look at my spacing. I'm going to look at, make sure that it's even. I might give myself a little more spacing here. To me. Okay, so now I'm going to rub that. Sometimes these littler ones, they have a tendency to want to lift on you. That's why those things happen was, you know, when you got a big transfer, they don't want to lift as much. Okay, so now we've got that on, and this is our last little thing. So we want to take that off, and I think that's pretty good. This area. There we go. Now we have got these on. Let me take all my trash down. I'll clean it up when I get off of the live. I'm just going to rub gently over what I put on. I'm not going to worry about that. Not going to worry about that. I can fix that very easily. Want to make sure my creases are good. They're all good. I'll fix that. And there was a little period, so let's put that little guy in. And I'm just going to go down here. I think it's this one. I'm going to put my little period in. Okay, so now I got my period in. So let me get that here and let me see what you guys are seeing. So you can see, hey Mary, how are you? Ann, how are you? So I'm gonna lift this up a little bit so you can see the scope of the bench. You see how pretty that is? Even though we've got panels in there, we've got different things going on in there, you guys, it still looks like it fits in that area, right? And then you've got that little drawer right there. Hi, Wanda. And it just kind of looks kind of good, right? So I just wanted to come on and show you how simplicity normally always works, right? And I just had an idea as I was standing there. Let your piece dictate to you. I had an idea while I was standing there looking at that. That scraped off a little bit. I'm going to have to pay attention to that. I kind of had an idea, you guys, because this is my seat right here. And you want something on your seat, don't you? I'm kind of thinking I may possibly do either stripes. I might do stripes. I might do some type of a pattern right here. I might do a stencil right here. I want this to be my focal point, but yet at the same time, don't leave any space undone, right? You know, let's do, I mean, it probably won't be black and white stripes because I want it to be more subtle. So I'll have to figure out what color stripes I want. I might do just a little bit darker drop cloth, just tint my drop cloth just a little more and do stripes and make it really, really nice on this, on the bottom. So I hope you enjoyed tonight, and you will see this piece as it progresses. And make sure that you go and you look at, keep your eye open, you guys, because next week we are going to be revealing some of the new transfers, and you're going to love them, just saying. I'm working on one that I absolutely love, 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 love. And it's going to be really, hopefully it'll be really cool when I get it done. But anyhow, make sure that you start looking next week for the sneak peeks, because the sneak peeks are coming. And then before you know it, the full reveals will be here, and all of us ambassadors are working really hard to make sure that we bring you a lot of cool ideas and make sure that we get you going just right. You know what I'm saying? So that you can order these and put them on your furniture and just be so happy. There's some really, really pretty ones, really pretty ones. I'm real pleased with the transfers that are coming out. So you guys, have a blessed night. And like I said, I'm Ransomed Relics. Haven't liked my page or followed me, please head over there. Look at the piece I just did. I used Blossom Flight on the inside of this beautiful cabinet, and it is just gorgeous. And so, love you guys, and I need to get back up here and turn this off. So I will see you again. I'm here every other Friday night, right? So this is, I've got one more in August, and it's 2 weeks from tonight. And we'll do something else really, really fun. Maybe we'll work with one of the new transfers, because by that time, they will have been revealed, and maybe we can do some work. So I'm glad you tuned in, and you guys have a blessed night.